What's going on, boys? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a good day. It's good to see you guys. It's been a little bit of time since my last upload. Today's, I don't know why I'm using this to point. Well, I'm gonna be using this in a second, but today's a cool day because we are unboxing something that might surprise you guys. Unless you guys have been following the S2000 build, then it probably won't. But for those of you guys that have been following along, you know that I had a turbo kit. That has been sold, and I'm kind of having second thoughts about this now. Let me explain. Oh, you gotta love remote start. Nice and cool. Let me see, I'm gonna get this going, and we will transfer you in. Yeah. All right, that should be good. Okay, so, yeah, it's been a while, man. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are talking about, well, I'm gonna unbox that Kraftwerks kit. That's ultimately what we're doing. But before I do that, have you guys ever heard this saying? I'm assuming if you're, well, you guys are all car guys. I'm assuming car guys have probably heard this saying. Cheap, fast, reliable. You can only pick two. If you do cheap and fast, it's not going to be reliable. If you do reliable and fast, it's not going to be cheap. If you go cheap and fast, it's not going to be reliable. You can only pick two of those. Oh, that saying sucks because it's so true. It is so true. So, let me try and give you the abbreviated version of why there's a Kraftwerks Supercharger kit in my garage. So, when I built the S2000, I started building it with the intention of going blower, which means I did the Skunk 2 header, I did the upgraded fuel pump, I believe I have a full-blown like 340 fuel pump. I didn't go with the more popular, I forget what it is because it's supposed to be really noisy, but I have 1000cc injectors, which are not installed in the car yet, obviously. The only thing that I didn't build or I didn't do for this car that would increase or be a better option for forced induction was the exhaust. I didn't go 3-inch exhaust, and the exhaust is one that I'm willing to give a little because I love the sound of the Mugen exhaust, and I've always wanted that exhaust. I didn't want drone, so I'm willing to, what's the word I'm looking for? Sacrifice. I'm willing to sacrifice on a little bit of horsepower, maybe a little horsepower, by not running a 3-inch. Bro, this is a merge. You don't have to stop, homie. Gosh, beautiful, man. So I'm willing to sacrifice on that because I think the sound is going to make up for it. And again, I just don't want drone. Personal preference. If I didn't care, then I would go 3-inch exhaust all the way back, and it'd be loud as heck, and my neighbors would hate me. But I'm past that point in my life. Anyway, so what happened was, built the car for that, for forced induction, got a great deal on a full race turbo kit. Now, when I say great deal, this kit, brand new, retailed at around $6,800, somewhere around there. I ended up getting it for $4,500, brand new, never used, everything brand new in box. The only thing, now with turbo kits, you get everything you need for the kit, but just like anything else with cars, and there's always more things you need. Like you need standalone fuel management, so that means either like AEM Infinity, Honda, Vtec, something like that. With boost or with turbo setups, inherently there's more that you need. You need a boost controller. There's going to be a lot more hosing that you need. You just need more things. It's kind of complete, but there's always miscellaneous stuff, not to mention a little bit more work. Like you have to drill and tap the oil pan and then run that oil feed line. So it's a little bit more intrusive. It's better if you want high horsepower, but when you're not shooting for high horsepower, which I'm not, my goal has always been like 350 wheel horsepower with the S2000 because it weighs 2,700 pounds. You don't need a ton of horsepower. So if you're not shooting for high horsepower, in my mind, a turbo kit is overkill. So with that being said, got the turbo kit, started doing the math on everything that I would need, and it wound up being about another $2,500 to $3,000 in miscellaneous parts just to get the turbo kit bolted on, not to mention the cost of labor, because I've never put one on. So I would love to help, but I would love to pay a professional or someone who's done it multiple times to do it, and if they would allow me to be in the vicinity, or that would be amazing. Any chance I can get to do that, I want to do that. So that would have been a minimum of at least 10 grand, which is what they say you should expect to pay when supercharging an S2000. So shouldn't have been that big a shock. But what happened was, I started thinking about it. Turbo kit was overkill. So I sold that for what I paid. Someone snatched it up literally right away. I got hooked up with a deal. I hooked them up with a deal. Worked out great for both sides. So I kind of sat on my hands for about a week, and this Kraftwerks kit came up. Another brand new in box, hadn't been installed kit, and I got a great deal on this as well. It's a standard kit for the AP1. It's got a C3881 Road Trex blower, I believe. And the guy bought it for his S2000, kept it in the garage for a little bit. He owns a car shop. He owns a shop. And he just never got around to installing it, because I don't know about you guys, but you know, I'm in a different field. But if you work in a field where you're doing things for other people, you don't get as much time to do things for yourself as often. So I understand. So he sold it to me for around $3,500. And with the Supercharger kit, again, you don't need as much to make it work as you would a turbo kit. It's a lot more complete, I guess I'd say. So you still need standalone fuel management. This kit didn't come with injectors. I already had those, so no big deal. And basically that's about it. Now, here's where the cheap, fast, and reliable come in, because I initially was planning on going Science of Speed, which I know is the preferred kit on a lot of S2000 forums and for a lot of S2000 guys. And I understand why. Science of Speed has a great reputation. LHT has done many Kraftwerks kits, and they always turn out great, but we never see the follow-up with those. And I know Kraftwerks has a little bit of a, I don't know if you'd call it bad reputation. I'm going to call it bad reputation. I knew it had a little bit of a bad reputation going into it, but when I bought the kit and started doing more research, I really dug into how much of a bad reputation the Kraftwerks kit has. The main issues with the Kraftwerks kit are how it comes off the shelf. Off the shelf, it comes with very weak mounting bolts. So the bolts that actually mount the hardware to the engine, to the car itself, are very weak, and they're not strong enough for the application. So a lot of guys say it is a must to upgrade to ARP hardware, which I did. I bought ARP hardware. So then the other complaint is the idler pulley. It's a manual idler pulley, and a lot of guys get the tension wrong, or it's harder to get the tension correct, and they end up shearing a belt, and that can do a variety of things wrong to the car. It can slap up and dent the hood going up. I've seen that happen. It can mess with the pulleys. There's a bunch of stuff that can happen when you shear a belt. So the shearing of the belt can be caused by a couple different things, but I believe the main factor in the shearing of the belt comes from the tension that the person puts when tightening the belt. And that also played into why a lot of the factory hardware was shearing. The tightness of the belt was putting more pressure on the mounting bolts, and it would shear those. Now, when you upgrade to ARP hardware and you can tighten the belt tighter, then you could have, if you upgrade one portion and not another, you're taking the problem area away from the bolts, and now that problem is diverted to the belts and pulleys. So you have to make sure those are basically playing nice with the fact that now you're able to tighten the belt a little tighter. And this is all from what I've read and I've talked to a few people. So long story short, cheap, fast, reliable. I want all three, obviously. I got the kit for cheap. I have a Vtec ECU, a Vtec Platinum Pro ECU on order. That's basically all I'm really waiting on for that. I did order all ARP hardware, so that's good. With the Kraftwerks kit, you have to upgrade the Vtec Solenoid gasket that comes with the kit. So the Vtec Solenoid gasket that comes with the kit is garbage. That's a well-known fact. So I have 2 of those on order, which I'm going to pick up now, because you want to replace the one that comes with the kit and the one on the Vtec Solenoid, so that will be good. I'm replacing the Serpentine belt for the drive system on the S2000, so I don't have to worry about that, so that'll be a new belt as well. And then, I mean, for the most part, I believe what a lot of guys complain about after replacing that ARP, after replacing the stock hardware with ARP, is just the pulley system, the cogged belt drive system. I have an email into TTS. They also manufacture a Rotrex system very, very similar to the KW, and apparently you can use their mounting bracket and pulley system. So I have an email into them to see if you're actually able to do that, and to see if it's cost prohibitive, to see if it, if their mounting system is $1,000, then it's probably not worth buying it. It's a third of the price of the kit. So I do want to stick with this Kraftwerks kit to see how reliable it is, because as far as I know, there haven't been any guys really that I know that have installed the Kraftwerks kit properly with upgraded hardware and all the things that you need to address, and then given long-term updates on it. I really am curious to see how it does with long-term updates. I have a guy who's going to be doing the install that is very, very familiar with forced induction. He's never done Kraftwerks, but he's awesome guy. I've literally been emailing him all the talking points that all the Kraftwerks guys bring up and all the well-known issues. So he is very familiar with all the issues of mounting locations, and there's a few issues with studs and how much room they leave for nuts on the mounting location for the Kraftwerks kit. So we're going to address all of that, and I really want to see how reliable this kit is. Now again, I'm not pushing for 500, even 400 wheel horsepower. Ideally, I want 350-ish, nice linear torque curve, nice good air fuel ratios, and go from there. So that's my spiel into why I'm keeping the Kraftwerks kit and what you can actually look for. Because again, the Kraftwerks kit is a little cheaper than the SOS kit. The SOS kit, Science of Speed, has a far better reputation. A far, far, far better reputation. Ideally, if I was to do it over, I would probably go with the SOS kit. I knew the Kraftwerks kit had a semi-bad reputation. I didn't think it was as bad as it is. Even all the guys in the Kraftwerks owners group are saying go SOS. I mean, there's a few guys. But again, I don't know. We'll see. Am I making a big mistake? Possibly. A lot of you guys in the comments, if you're from the Kraftwerks group, are going to say yes, you're making a huge mistake. I'm honestly very curious. If you have the install done by a reputable installer, if you replace all the hardware they tell you to replace, if there's a way to possibly go to an automatic tensioner pulley, not a manual tensioner pulley. I don't know if that's possible, but we'll look at that when we get it. And then there are a few reinforcements that come with a version of the kit that I want to make sure I have. So once we get to unboxing it, I'll know a lot more about the kit. I should have everything that it needs, but if not, I may have to order a few more pieces. So that's a little bit longer. I'll try and cut that down. I apologize. We made it to Honda. I'm going to go run in, pick up the Vtec Solenoid gasket and the Serpentine belt for the drive system, and then we'll get back to the house and unbox this Kraftwerks kit. All right, back in the garage where it is literally 150. Olive, neighbor's dog. Anyway, so I have to show you guys what is in this because honestly, I haven't even opened it up yet, so I don't know what's in there. So we're gonna unbox this together and see if it has the updated parts that I'm looking for, and if not, I'll have to order those. But again, this is brand new in box. I haven't seen it yet. Let's do it. All right, so here's what we got. S2000 hose kit, S2000 oil cooler kit, SUK drive assembly, AP1 belt and pulley. That's one of the parts we need to look at. Rotrex. There we go, that's important. Obviously the intercooler. What we got here, we got the instructions. Except, switch that. That should be over there. Some stickers. And then the charge tubing. So we're gonna take all this out to see what it all looks like. In this box, we have the pulley and the ribbed belt. Ribbed for S2000 pleasure. In this box is what they're calling the hose kit. So, bunch of hoses. It's all good. What's this? Okay, all right. So in here we have the blower itself, Rotrex C3881, I believe. Yeah. All right. And here is an oil cooler. They title it the oil cooler kit. Oil cooler's not actually in there, so at least I don't believe it is. Oh yeah, it is. Well, that's a tiny guy. I may upgrade that oil cooler to a bigger one. And it comes obviously with the stupid, super expensive Rotrex oil. Nice and shiny intercooler. Looking very nice. Way better than the fins on the other intercooler that I had. A few bent fins, but nothing crazy. So that is looking good. All right, here is the drive assembly. That is the important bit right there. That is what people have issues with, where this actually mounts, and the bolts that this uses to mount, they supply weaker than they should bolts. So that is why I ordered the ARP hardware, and I believe this piece right here is the upgraded piece that I am looking for, but I want to find out. And this is the charge tubing. Yep, so there it is. Charge tubing, air filter, everything needed. Alright, so get off there.
Bolt here. So now you've got another mounting point. This mounts to the front timing cover and this to the side of the motor.
I don't have that. That's what I was looking for. Here's that bracket that they talk about, and you can see the one in the video. This piece right here is much thicker and has a hole through it. I don't have that. So I do have this piece, but that is just the mounting bracket to where this mounts on the Vtec solenoid portion. This on the opposite side of the head, that's what this goes to. So I'm gonna go on their website and see if I can order that piece. So I mean, altogether, this kit looks good from the outside. I know the issues it's had are well documented. So luckily for me, I'm gonna do everything I can to kind of avoid those. I am still going to use this kit, and I'm going to take all the precautions that you guys, well, that if you guys are watching this, you Kraftwerks guys have said to take, and fingers crossed it works. I mean, I'm gonna go on Kraftwerks website right now and see if I can order that new Vtec solenoid bracket. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make this a series because I feel like Kraftwerks gets a really bad name, and I want to see if it's justified. There are a handful of guys, well, I would say the mixture right now is like 50-50 on guys that are like, well, I wouldn't even say that. The guys that don't like Kraftwerks really don't like Kraftwerks, and they are loud about it. And rightfully so, they've probably been hosed over, whatever it is. They don't like Kraftwerks. The guys that do like Kraftwerks really don't say much. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how this kit is. I mean, This is my project car. I mean, I had a blown up motor. Worst case scenario, this goes down the toilet and we have to turn that motor into a 2.4 NA beast and maybe rebuild the supercharger and then have a supercharged 2.4 liter. I don't know. We have options, but I'm gonna go on Kraftwerks website right now, see if I can order that. And then stay tuned because this build is going to happen probably this coming week. I've been taking a lot of time off. I haven't really had much car stuff going on, but it should all start to compress now because the seats, again, knock on wood, they're supposed to be back this week, but they should be back this coming week. So we should have a good amount of car stuff happening soon. If you're new to the channel, guys, hit that subscribe button. I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.